I'm having breakfast with Mary Lee. Yo-do-do-do-dee. I'm having breakfast with Mary Lee.
So good to join you on the podcast. And listen, I don't mean to put a damper on your Christmas season, but at this moment, someone, somewhere, is scratching your name off their Christmas card list. Speaking of Christmas cards, this little bit of trivia from Rule of Thumb. You should receive at least 2 Christmas cards for every 3 that you mail out. If you don't, you're sending cards to the wrong people. I think I'm actually doing above average. The only downside to that is that the majority of the cards I'm receiving are addressed to resident. Excited to have 2 special guests on this podcast. Up next, Dr. Bryce Hayes, the artistic director with Winchester Musica Viva, will tell us about A Christmas Carol. And a little later, I'll be talking with Jason Gottschalk with the Godfrey Miller Center. The center has applied for Chain of Checks funding, and we'll talk about what they want to do with the grant money. Right now, though, it's your brain buster. According to the Campbell Soup Company, 50% of their annual sales of this particular soup take place between November and January. What soup is it? A, tomato. B, chicken noodle. Or C, cream of mushroom. Your answer coming up at the end of the podcast. Before I talk with Bryce Hayes of Musica Viva, I just want to say I love shopping local, but I also enjoy getting catalogs. It gives me ideas to go and find something local, and if I can't find it local, then I will use the catalog. I'll dog-ear pages, I'll see things that remind me of something for someone, and I write their name by it. And I have the best of intentions of getting all of this stuff ordered before Thanksgiving. But lo, the catalogs pile up, and Thanksgiving comes and goes. And all those free shipping offers? Yeah, by procrastinating, I've got to pay extra to get it here on time. But when I look through catalogs, it takes me back to when I was 7 years old. We were living in Fairfax, Virginia, and we used to look forward to that big, fat wish book that would arrive just before Thanksgiving. Remember how sweet those catalog pages smelled? And over the next several weeks, we would circle items, dog-ear pages, fantasize about those presents under our tree. For me, it was a hand-operated toy crane. I'd come home from school, turn the page in that wish book. It seems like it was at the bottom of the page to the left. And day after day, fantasizing about that crane and what I would do with it outdoors. And through the magic of Santa, that very same crane in the catalog was waiting for me in the pre-dawn hours on Christmas morning. And if I can offer this advice, with all the rush and stress of shopping and wrapping and baking and decorating and parties to attend, it's okay to be busy, but just remember to take the time to stop and smell the catalogs. And now settle back. There's an opportunity this weekend to hear Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol like you've never heard it before. Winchester Musica Viva has been providing incredible choral works for the Shenandoah Valley since 1981. And coming up, Charles Dickens' A Christmas Carol like you've never heard it before. Here to tell us all about it is Dr. Bryce Hayes. He's the artistic director with Winchester Musica Viva, also a professor at James Madison University. Bryce, it's great to have you back on the podcast.
Barry, it's great to be with you again. Thank you so much for having me.
This is a storytelling concert, a different way that we've heard A Christmas Carol. Share it with us.
Yeah, it's very unique and very new and different, and we're really happy to be bringing this to our region. The Christmas Carol, of course, the story by Charles Dickens, has become a beloved part of a lot of our Christmas traditions. We talked about in our rehearsals with Musica Viva our first memory of the Christmas Carol, the one that sticks out in our mind. And lots of the singers remembered Mr. Magoo or the Muppets or the George C. Scott film. And it's such an iconic part of the Christmas season, as well as obviously the carols that everybody wants to hear. And so this performance is kind of weaving the two together. It's all familiar carols. Actually, a few will be unfamiliar, but most of them are familiar carols. And it's woven together with a narrator who tells the story of the Christmas Carol. And so it's quite unique. I'm not aware of any other piece like this. It's about 75 minutes long, and it's all a cappella. And the choir kind of serves two roles. The choir is both carol singers and takes the lead in leading the audience in some of these carols. But the choir also then serves as kind of almost like the orchestra, underscoring the beautiful narration of Dickens' words.
Wow, just the logistics of intertwining all of this is quite a feat. And this work was composed by a Grammy nominee.
Yes, it's a brand new composition, 2022. Benedict Sheehan is the name of the composer. And Benedict and I have known each other since we were students together in our undergraduate years, way back in the late 90s. So I've known Benedict for a long time, and his career is really taking off. He's got multiple Grammy nominations. He just recently, this fall, had a new piece premiered at Trinity Wall Street in New York City. So he's a true rising star in the choral world. And I've spoken to Benedict about our doing it. He has given us some advice and has been a part of the process. He's been sharing our upcoming performances on his social media. So we're very pleased to be kind of collaborating with the composer on this journey.
And this is exciting too. Your narrator is somebody pretty darn special.
Our narrator is very special. We're collaborating with the really well-known storyteller, Adam Booth, who's based out of Shepherdstown, West Virginia. And Adam Booth is the 2022 West Virginia Folk Artist of the Year. And Adam is a storyteller, and he often is telling his own story. So it's kind of unique for him to be telling another person's story, to be telling Dickens' story. But Adam is just an amazing spirit and has a wonderful presence. And the voices he brings to the characters, it's really pretty miraculous the way he brings it all to life.
Ah, this sounds incredible. So, we have two opportunities to hear A Christmas Carol this coming Friday, the 15th, in Charlestown, West Virginia. And where will that be?
Yeah, so the performance on the 15th, which will actually be the West Virginia premiere of this work, we're really pleased. That performance is 7:30 p.m. on Friday evening at St. James the Greater Catholic Church in Charlestown, West Virginia.
And then on the 17th of December in Winchester, what time and where?
So the 17th, we're at Grace Evangelical Lutheran Church at 3 p.m. in Winchester.
How do we get tickets, Bryce?
Tickets can be purchased at the door or in advance through our Ludus website, Ludus. And if you go to the Winchester Musica Viva website, there's a link there that will take you to Ludus where you can buy tickets in advance. And we encourage you to do so, especially for our Winchester performance that we're anticipating might sell out.
And what is that website, Bryce?
Yes, it's winchestermusicaviva.org.
All right, so two opportunities, the 15th and the 17th. And if you've got somebody on that Christmas list that's so hard to buy for and they've got all the stuff they need, what a treat to take them to see A Christmas Carol presented by Winchester Musica Viva. The artistic director is Dr. Bryce Hayes. And Bryce, best of luck and thanks for sharing this news with us. Merry Christmas.
Thank you. We look forward to melting the hearts of even the most avid Ebenezer Scrooge. So please join us.
Thank you, Bryce. Let's check out our podcast planner, nationaldaycalendar.com. Monday, the 11th, is National Stretching Day. And dogs and cats make it look so relaxing, don't they? Tuesday is National Poinsettia or Poinsettia Day and Gingerbread House Day. If you live in a gingerbread house, you're just asking for ants. On Wednesday, the 13th, it's the National Guard's birthday, created in 1636. And we can celebrate with a cup of cocoa on National Cocoa Day on the 13th. Thursday, the 14th, is Monkey Day, a salute to simians. You know, there's over 260 species of simians. Friday the 15th, just in time for those weekend parties, it's Ugly Christmas Sweater Day. And how many people have worn what they thought was their best Christmas sweater to work only to be accused of that being their ugly Christmas sweater? Feelings can be hurt. Saturday the 16th, it's Chocolate Covered Anything Day. Sunday the 17th, it's Wright Brothers Day. It was December 17th, 1903, the first mechanically propelled heavier-than-air flight at Kitty Hawk. And also on the 17th at 7 p.m. at Armstrong Hall at Shenandoah University, it's the Clark County Community Band's Christmas Concert to benefit Chain of Checks. I went to the Berryville concert at Clark County High School this past Sunday. I'm telling you, this is a fun, spirited concert. And there's no charge. There's just going to be some collection boxes in the lobby, and if you feel so moved, you can donate to Chain of Checks. And speaking of which, one of the recipients of Chain of Checks grants for this 2023 campaign is the Godfrey Miller Center's Congregate Affordable Meal Program. Joining us is the Executive Director of the Godfrey Miller Center, Jason Gottschalk. Jason, great to have you with us on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Before we talk about how you're going to use the Chain of Checks money, a word about the services Godfrey Miller Center provides.
Godfrey Miller Center is a nonprofit senior center located in downtown Winchester. We are dedicated to serving older adults of the community, providing benevolent services, fellowship programs, community events in the historic Godfrey Sperry Miller House and the Judge Robert Woltz Pavilion. Both are located on the Walking Mall in downtown Winchester. What that means is we offer classes, things like computer classes, iPhone classes, art classes. We also offer presentations, how to make seasonal wreaths, presentations on keeping your lawn healthy and growing. We also have a lunch program, which was the focus of this grant, and that serves lunch to area seniors twice a week in 2023 and will expand in 2024. And then we also do larger programs such as an art show or a seasonal tea, things like that.
Just a neat way to keep seniors connected and together. And tell us about this affordable meal program.
Sure. So the Affordable Meal Program, as I mentioned, serves lunches twice a week. We're going to expand that service potentially to 4 times a week in 2024. They're all fully home-cooked meals. We have a cook on staff that develops the menus and makes the meals for the lunches. We serve about 20 to 30 people at each lunch. And more than half of the people that come to the lunches are individuals of limited financial means, many of whom live in nearby HUD subsidized housing. And a lot of these people maybe couldn't afford this type of meal without this program. So the program really is intended to help reduce food insecurity for older adults, to promote socialization. People come 30 minutes early and begin chatting over their iced tea and really enjoying the time together. And also just to nurture the overall health and well-being of older people, providing them with access to more than just the meals. If I could say, kind of a gateway drug to the other programs we have. So as people get involved in the reduced cost lunches, then they're also interested in perhaps coming to a game session or a lecture on jazz music, for instance.
So, Jason, you talk about expanding to 4 days a week with the lunch program. So in 2024, how many senior adults are we feeding?
Well, in 2024, we anticipate serving more than 2,400 meals. And probably of that 2,400, about 1,600 will be the subsidized meals and 800 at the market rate.
And Jason, you wanted to issue a couple of shout-out thank yous to 2 organizations that make this whole program possible.
Absolutely. So Godfrey Miller Center is sponsored by and a ministry of Grace Evangelical Lutheran Church, a block and a half away. They really support all of our programs and help us be able to do what we do. And the meal program in particular, we partner with NW Works for food service. They have volunteers that come every meal. They eat their lunch first and then help us for about 2 hours, serving food, cleaning up, and helping all of the participants with tea and anything that they might need while they're dining. That's been a great partnership, and they really make the program possible. With only 2 staff at Godfrey Miller Center, it would be difficult without the help of our volunteers.
That's very cool. If people want to find out more about the Godfrey Miller Center, where do we look?
Sure. Well, online is probably the easiest, and you can go to godfreymillercenter.org. On our website, there is a complete list of all of our programming. You can print out a calendar for the month, for instance. There's also information about all of the things we do and ways to support the organization. You can also call for more information, and the phone number is 540-667-5869. You can also like us on Facebook, Godfrey Miller Center on Facebook.
Helping to support the good work of the Godfrey Miller Center and the Affordable Meal Program through Chain of Checks, the Executive Director, Jason Gottschalk. Thanks so much, Jason, for what you, your staff, and volunteers do for our area seniors.
Well, thank you, Barry, and thank you for the Chain of Checks support. It really helps make this program possible.
For details on this and the other 3 organizations seeking Chain of Checks funding, find out about their projects by logging on to chainofchecks.com, and you can donate safely and securely from right there. All right, before we go, let's see how you did on the Brain Buster. Campbell's Soup says that 50% of their annual sales of this type of soup take place between November and January. What soup is it? A, tomato. B, chicken and noodle. Or C, cream of mushroom? And the answer is cream of mushroom. That soup was introduced in 1934, the first product from Campbell's marketed as both a soup and a sauce. And in closing, this thought on food: when somebody says that the meal they cooked for you was made with love, what it really means is that they licked the spoon and just kept using it. Have a blessed week.